Let's test it. Oh, okay. It's not
Okay.
right.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله وآله وصحبه أجمعين. I'm very happy today with our team. I am Muhammad from Absaya, and I'm here today with our Vice President, our Siddiq. Bismillah.
Alhamdulillah. Wassalatu wassalamu ala ashrafil anbiya. Very, very happy today. Excited. Yeah, we are here to interact with our people who really need to understand our vision and from our perspective what Wasabih is and what we dream, the vision we see with this our new platform.
Excellent. Thank you very much. Okay. Now we have our moderator. We started without our moderator, so our moderator is in yet. So maybe let's bring again the countdown.
Hello.
Hello. So we are back on Wasabih Talks. So today is a very special day. We'll be talking about the Islamic economy as a whole. We're not talking about the 3 trillion USD economy, but it's an economy for more than 2 billion people around the world. And it's very, very young economy. Everything is to be built, very high potential, one of the fastest growing economies in the world. And not only the Islamic economy, but also we're talking about the continent that has the highest potential of growth in the economy as a whole, but also in the Islamic economy. We're talking about hundreds of millions of Muslims living in Africa, represented today by Brother Awad. Dilip, our moderator, are you around? So,
yes,
so
good evening.
Excellent. So go ahead, moderator. So usually get ready. I think let's show you a quick presentation of Wasabih, so that we can use this as a reference in our discussions. Thank you very much.
Well,
Moderator. Moderator, please go ahead.
all right. Thank you so much for that introduction. I hope like everyone enjoyed watching the video and getting to know more about Wasabi. But that's not just yet. We have loads and loads of information coming out to know more about what's going on in the halal economy, as we have our privilege to meet our co-founders and founder of Wasabi. We have Mohammed and Awal. Then we'll have a short introduction about them. To begin with, like we have known that the halal economy is making waves in the global economy, especially in the Islamic sectors, using the values and principles laid down in the Islamic religion. But as we know that the halal economy is not limited to Muslims, but everyone around the world. So to begin with, like Mohammed, could you give us like a gist summary about like what is exactly going on in the halal economy and how people can come and be a part of it?
Thank you very much, Dilip. Very, uh, very important question. So, what is the halal economy? Okay, the halal economy is we're going to call it the section of the economy that goes with the rules of the Islamic religion. So, as you know, the Islamic religion is a universal religion, a universal message. It has rules and principles, and those rules and principles are an objective is to build a better society. So those rules that are uh, uh, put by the Islamic religion to protect people's integrity, people's property, and people security. Those rules are the one that the Islamic economy are using to build a sustainable and also a dynamic economy. So in Islam, we say everything is allowed except what is not allowed. So by definition, you can do the business as much as you can. I can just take a very simple example that everybody knows. When we talk halal, we hear a lot about the halal food, meaning that Muslims who identify themselves as Muslim believers, uh, they can eat everything except what God, what the religion said you should not eat. And the main example you can see is pork. So Muslim can eat any type of meat, but they cannot they cannot eat the pork, or they cannot eat a meat that when it was slaughtered, the name of God was not mentioned. So it's very simple principle, but it's a principle that is being lived with by about 2 billion people around the world. And that figure itself can show you the high potential and the high the high growth that someone can expect if they can venture into this economy and try to gain some market.
So much for that brief description about what exactly halal economy is. Especially, I like the way when you said that halal economy is using Islamic universal principles with an objective to build the economy. That's fantastic. I think that's making even more clearer to people that what exactly is halal economy. But I know there's a caveat there for my non-Muslim friends who are kind of like in a dilemma of understanding the term of halal. Is that limited to just foods, or is there something that is beyond?
Yeah, so that's a question for me or for all. Is it for me? Sorry.
Oh, this is for you, and Awal can go
Okay.
ahead with
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. No, it's not limited. It's not at all limited for on food. So I can share my perspective, and then Awal can definitely complete. So it's very important, and your question is really important. Again, it's very important to understand that the halal, the Islamic economy, is to build a society. So a society that goes with the principle that the Almighty put here, that we believe He knows best how to build the best society. So halal governed all the rules around the society. Uh, it can be food, it can be drink. It's the way we interact in terms of business. For example, um, uh, uh, what we call riba. Riba is how do you say usure? Oh, that word I don't know. I don't know that word.
Usury
Usury, right? Usury. Yeah.
or
So usury.
interest or
Yeah.
interest.
Interest. To make it very simple, when you borrow 100 from me, you should give me back 100, not 101, not 120 something. The same type of product of money. You borrow it, you give the same type. It's different from I buy this smartphone 100 and I sell it to 120. Okay, I've made benefit, and this is allowed. And God say, "Wa ahallallahu al-bay'a wa harrama riba." So God has permitted business affairs, and He has forbidden usury, riba. So it's His religion that pushes people, that encourages people to make business, to do transactions. But are some borders of it. So, for example, in the halal economy, if you take investment, Islam doesn't allow to do business in where the purpose of that business uh, uh, attacks the integrity of people, attack the security of people and the well-being of people. For example, in pornography, or in the weaponry, in how the games, those games, in those type of game where people can lose a lot of money. Those part where people can lose their integrity, can waste a lot of their money, of their time. Islam doesn't allow to invest or to venture in those fields. And as you can see, all this is to protect the society, to be a better society. So I like to rather to complete, or even to correct
Yeah,
me.
thank you, Mamadou. I mean, you have covered all the points, the important points regarding the halal economy. So, halal food is very popular when it comes to in discussing halal, because Muslims all over the world, and Muslim knows that if I am invited to any kind of dinner, then everybody knows that this guy doesn't drink alcohol, this guy doesn't eat pork, this guy. So it has been made so popular, and the discussion around halal is mostly centered around food. So, Dilip, your question is very legitimate, but the understanding is that halal is an economy. Halal is an industry on its own that covers everything, just like Mamadou said. It can be clothing, it can be cosmetics, it can be anything that we are interacting amongst ourselves. But the core principle is that it has to respect and obey universal principles, Islamic universal principle that governs every interaction amongst ourselves. We believe that it's a way of life, and a way of life, there are codes, there are rules and regulations that is regulating every bit of activities each one of us is doing. So that is what Islam does. It does not leave any bit of anything outside human interaction, so that you have ambiguity or you are confused what to do. There are basic principles that you need to obey, and this is the halal. So it's not limited to only the food. It's cosmetics, it's clothing, it's shoes, it's everything, all the businesses. But we have limitation, what we can do Within this, you cannot go into pork business, you cannot go into alcohol business, the games Mamadou mentioned, everything, So these are principles we have to obey in doing. Apart from that, anybody who believes in these universal principles and does businesses that respect these kind of rules and regulations is welcome into the halal economy.
This is really fantastic. It was like a detailed description about understanding what exactly the halal businesses and the halal principles are used, and like how it has been imbibed in each and every businesses that has been done. What I hear constantly from both of you is doing business with integrity and the principles of the Islamic global Islamic universal values is something that is going to drive the halal economy. Moving on to our next question. So this question is specifically, to begin with, we can start with Awal. And I also know that Mamadou, you both have the African origin. And given the statistics that about a billion of population in the African continent, roughly about 45%, that is 450 million of the population is follows Islamic religion. How do you see the future in the Islamic economy for the African continent?
Thank you very much, Lip, for this excellent and very important question. So, for me, coming from Africa and looking at the halal or the Islamic economy and its potential in Africa, I see a very huge untapped potential within Africa. The conversation of halal economy is very less within Africa. It means what it means to us is that it's very much untapped. You hear halal food mentioned several times within Nigeria and South Africa, but within the broader sense of Islamic Africa, we don't have a lot of this kind of conversation. Even halal certification is something we need to educate people about. A lot of businesses, a lot of huge potential, both the human resource and the kind of raw materials we have. We export every day, but we don't look at strategically how we can position ourselves to take advantage of this emerging economy, the halal economy. So I think, from my perspective, that we as a platform, as Wasabih, we can play a very leading role in trying to awaken Africa and its resources to realize that this is a potential we need to tap into. For example, in South Africa, they are looking at investing, government is looking at investing 67 million US dollars to back a halal food processing park where you get chains of company processing halal, because they want to tap into the growing economy, especially in the halal food, being a major supplier of halal food globally. This is one of the examples of an African country realizing this untapped potential and already preparing to move faster. So I think it shouldn't be just halal food for South Africa. It's supposed to be all the industry and coming on a single platform. So we can do this by taking the lead, for example, in terms of education, in terms of bringing on board all these companies, and in terms of liaising and coordinating with all these certification organizations to lead the education and certifying all these processes and products to be able to tap this potential. So for me, I think this is huge potential. And as people or as founders of a platform that is dedicated to the Islamic economy, I think we have the responsibility to look at where we are coming from and what we can do for the entire continent in terms of leading it to tap this potential. I'll invite Mamadou to take his perspective on this as well.
Wow, that's really interesting, the insights you have given from Africa. So this gives me, it encourages more to look into it, and it's really great to see that countries that are taking it very very seriously. So many see Malaysia as leader in the Islamic economy, but we can see that. Many countries around the world are starting to tap into the Islamic economy, and definitely Africa should not be in the rest behind to play its role, its very role in the Islamic economy.
Fantastic, really fantastic. Now that we got to know a lot about the opportunities that we can explore in the African markets, Mamadou, I have like a follow-up question for the same question that we were just discussing about. Now that you've been you've spent a lot of your life, part of your life in the European countries as well as now being in the Southeast Asia, like how do you think that the developed markets, like especially in the halal economy, is going to help to thrive and to propel the businesses in Africa? And how does Wasabi come into the picture in helping businesses and like leaders and professionals to do so?
Thanks, Dilip. So we are uh, as very humbly working in the Islamic economy for some time, either personally. So personally, I've been involved in the Islamic economy, Islamic affairs for over 25 years. And I say involved is when I started to really uh, work at the student level, at the neighborhood level, and then at the business level in Senegal, France, in Malaysia. So what we noticed, and very frankly, Muslims, we are a lot behind. So I talk about Muslims. Even this Islamic economy is not only for Muslims. It's respecting Islamic principles. So non-Muslim can respect Islamic principles. And Muslims may not respect Islamic principles. But if we take the perspective of Muslim, that are the major stakeholders of the economy, we are very far behind. We need to learn a lot, and to learn a lot on first to educate ourselves, second to learn how to build sustainable businesses, and this takes a long time. And just to also make sure that we don't start from the end. Many Muslims, they start from, for example, let's name it Islamic finance. So I'm not finance, but from the perspective I have, and it's the only perspective I can share, um, before we can manage any finance of an economy, we first need that economy. So you cannot manage any finance if you don't have an economy. So the Islamic economy currently, we know that the major players in the Islamic economy are non-Muslim companies. If you go to Mihas, the last Mihas I attended, not this one, but the one before COVID, 80% of the exhibitors they are non-Muslim companies and doing well and doing greatly in the Islamic economy. Uh, so it for Muslim is first it start to learn how to build a sustainable economy and make sure that we are not copy pasting from other economies, because it's not the same. There are some rules, some principles. If you talk about strategy, yes. You talk about marketing, yes, but marketing in the way Islam wants it. Otherwise, it will not be easy to address the behavior, the expectation of this Muslim population. A Muslim can buy a TV or something, but there are other things that the Muslim, when they buy through their attributes, their beliefs. For example, for me, I don't travel. I'm not traveling or doing visiting tourism, visiting some places around the world as maybe others do. There are something I'm looking for a hotel when I travel. There are something I'm looking in terms of financing when I'm looking for finance for my startup. It's not the conventional one. So there are many things out there that Muslims themselves have to understand, because many Muslims, they don't understand well the principle of Islam. And businesses out there, they must also understand the core principles of Islam, so that they can really address this market the best way. Otherwise, it can be the other way around. And nowadays, Muslims are having more and more power in terms of purchase, and definitely they are looking for some attributes in any product that is presented to them.
This is great. I think my biggest key takeaway from that, after listening to you for the last 2 minutes, is people should, especially in the halal economy, or like Muslims, should know how to build a sustainable economy within the economy which is out there. I think that's a great message, and I'm pretty sure like that will give a lot of spirit and motivation to people and young entrepreneurs who are going to thrive in this kind of economy, especially using the Islamic financing principles, or like the various values and principles which has been followed in the global Islamic religion as well as in the economy. I think this has been a great discussion. So for me, like as a non-Muslim, what I would also like to know is that, for the fact that like companies like yours and companies like ours, which has been focused into tech and one into cosmetics, like you as an entrepreneur, how have you started like implementing these principles, something which is notable and that could be like translated for people who can take motivation from yours and try to come up with their own startup ideas, or like maybe like try to collaborate with businesses to make sure that there are tiny or like some kind of like minute improvements that could begin to make sure that they're trying to refocus it into a sustainable economy within the halal economy.
Yeah, thank you very much, Dilip. This is a very interesting question and very hard to answer as well. So, in entrepreneurship, you realize that before you even start your company, your startup, there's number one thing you have to do, and that is the vision, the dream. And Mamadou would agree with me in the Quran when Prophet Yusuf started his journey. It started as a dream, where he said, "Inni ra'aytu ahada ashara kawkaba wa shamsu wal qamar ra'aytuhum li sajidin." He had a dream, and he had the stars, the moon, and the sun all prostrating before him. And he said, and that was the beginning of his journey as somebody who is very important and who would grow to be a prophet and play a very important role in the economy of the world. So for us, the vision has to be clean. I mean, if your interest is just to make money with your startup, then this is not a very good way of starting a company, and it is not a way in the Islamic way of starting a business. We don't start businesses to make money. You first of all ask yourself, the category of business I want to do, is it halal? This is the first thing. And what will be its impact on my local economy and the economy of the world? Then you start the business. When you start the business, there's core principle you must obey, like honesty. You cannot afford to lie. You cannot afford to promise what you cannot deliver. You cannot afford to write something you are not doing. I mean, I have built a cosmetic company, and there are so many brands out there. You want to say, I use this oil, I use this oil, I use natural ingredients. It has to be natural ingredients when you say it is natural ingredient. So if you are working with a team, and the team sees you every day, you blend the raw fresh banana and you put it in, and you say this is natural, they really believe in your leadership because they have seen you doing it But if they don't see it and so just put it on their park there, I mean, they know that you are lying. You are a Muslim and you are lying to yourself, to your team, and the world. So for us, it starts from the vision and to the end. Every day you have to live by this principle. You don't have to cheat your partner. When you promise, you have to deliver. When you can't deliver, you have to tell your partner this is it. The most important thing is positive impact every day. We have to start little by little. You have to know that the core essence of your business is to help the world, is to make the world a better place than you found it, and not to extort from the world, and not to extort from the poor, and not to deceive the public in order to make money. So these are fundamentals you have to. But if your primary aim is just to make money, I'm sorry to say that this is not the Islamic way of starting any form of business. Yes, Islam says make profit, live your life, but don't do it at the expense of somebody's welfare. Somebody, you are deceiving somebody. So this is it. And at the end of the day, there will be challenges. Before Mamadou comes in, there will be challenges. And in Islam, whenever there are challenges, if you are running a startup, know that Allah is the best person to speak to. So this is why we spend nights crying to Allah to make things easy for us. This is for me to know that, look, my effort is one and the results is two. The effort is coming from me, but the results is coming from somebody else, someone's a higher power somewhere, and that is Allah. Allah is responsible for the results. So these are principles. But if you know that only hard work, I have to be smart, I have to deceive somebody to make money, then you are not doing the business that respects the core value of Islam. But if you know that I put in the effort, the best effort out there, then the results comes from Allah. You will be humble enough to tell the truth, to live by the core values and not to deceive people. So just to this is just to answer your question. I know Mamadou has a lot to say in this regard as well.
Mashallah, I cannot add anything to this. It's just perfect. Excellent. Mashallah.
These are great knowledgeable principles. I think like every sentence of yours could be like either converted into a quotation or like some kind of a quote which really makes sense in today's world, and not only today, like wherever you go. Because something I believe is also like having a vision and having like a principled approach to ethic. In fact, yesterday while I was listening to this audiobook, I'm pretty sure you might have heard of like Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. It talks about the concept of vision and how Prophet Muhammad really became so popular and came up with this preaching, because no one believed him initially, and only then when he struggled hard to create things that he really felt something inside is this what really today stands as a testimony of Islamic values and principle. Correct me if I'm wrong. And the other important thing, my biggest takeaway from this is be the change that you want to see, is something what Mahatma Gandhi said. And I'm pretty sure like with having a vision to create something like fantastic which can be sustained for longer period of time, you need to walk the talk, and you need to constantly envision yourself how to make things better. I think these are great words. We will shift quickly back to Mohammedu to listen to his side of the story and to have like some more quotes and interesting thoughts that people get inspired from him.
Yeah, sorry, Mama has to leave. So yeah, I think it was really great session. So thank you for having me. And it's very inspiring. And I believe, inshallah, in the coming sessions, we'll be able to share more and to learn from each other, and to definitely invite leaders thought leaders in the Islamic economy to have this session, is talks. We just discuss a community start from the house, and in the house, the father, the mother, the kids, we all discuss. And for people who are born or who have a bit of history in the villages back then, whether it's in Africa or somewhere else, at night or even after, at the end of the day, after the Asr prayer, the people sit around and discuss. After eating, we sit around, we discuss around the tea. At night, we bring kids, we tell them things. So that conversation, that discussion is key for a community to thrive, to learn from each other. And so the discussion has to continue. And this is one of the reasons we wanted to put in place these talks. We cannot have a community without discussing and having open discussion, not those discussions that are just without any foundation or just trying to sell here and there. We want to have real discussion, being challenged in our thinking, not just those discussion to push for any political will. So our discussion that we want to have in these talks are free, open, respectful, but very constructive, very constructive. So thank you guys so much for this test drive, and thank you for people who joined this test drive. Uh, Thank you, Fatou. Thank you, Francois.
I didn't
for
know
joining.
people had joined. Seriously?
Yeah. We have viewers. Come on. One from France, one from Malaysia, one from Morocco.
Oh my God.
So,
but
yeah,
one thing, like,
go ahead.
what I would like to say is,
Mm.
yeah. One thing what I would like to say, like, based on what you were telling, it takes the whole community and like a family, like a setting, to challenge each other, to bring the change within ourselves. I think you might have heard of this very famous African proverb: "It takes a village to raise a child." I think it takes a community like Wasabi to bring the change in this world, to make people know more about what's going on in the halal economy and how people can tap into this potential and create opportunities and build businesses and build lives together.
Excellent. Wow, that's a wonderful closing.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, everybody.
Thank
Thank you, Dave.
you, everybody.
Thank you so much.
So see you soon. See you tomorrow. Tomorrow is our
Chief,
first.
by the way, like one last question. So for tomorrow to stream this event, like, could I get the link so that I can post it along
Sure.
with the message which is going out?
We can end the broadcast and then we can discuss technical.
Oh, okay.
So thank you, everyone. Goodbye. So and see you tomorrow at 10 p.m. Malaysia time for
All right. Stay tuned for more.
Wasabih Talk, and I'll let you go with this very nice clip.